I was thinking about, I was listening to some, I can't remember what I was listening to, or either I was talking to somebody. It was something triggered a thought though, where I was thinking about, as I was listening, how easy it is, right, to deal with people when you don't necessarily have to be there, right? It's like if I'm gonna give you an example. When I was in prison, I had this thought in my mind, this desire, this vision, right, that I would get me a place and my mother would be living with me, right? But when I came home, there was a point in time where we did live together, and we actually lived together for about, I think, 4 years, actually. It didn't seem like it was that long, but I think it was like 4 years we lived together. And when I tell you that my mother drove me crazy, you know, and that's the language I'm gonna use. My thinking is a little bit different now when talking to how people affect me or how I allow people to affect me. But in the way that I communicated at that particular time, my mother drove me crazy, right? And the thing is, I felt like I was good. When I left, I felt like I was good, honestly, if I hadn't seen her no more. That's how much my mother drove me up the wall. And I know for most individuals who hear something like that, you know, you can't even begin to understand. But I use this as an example, you know, personal thing in my life as an example, because I want you to understand what I'm getting at. And the thing is that now that we don't live together, she's still difficult. However, she can't bother me nowhere near how that used to affect me, right? And I've learned over time that that's very common. Let me put it like that. It's very common that you can deal with people from a distance way better than you can deal with them under most circumstances in an intimate setting. So why am I even talking about this? I'm talking about it because one thing that I realize is that sometimes we tend to measure our social health, the way we are with people, the way we can interact, that health, right? Like our social health, our social skill set, or, you know, the view we have of ourselves, right? We tend to measure that by our friends. We tend to measure that by how we affect the lives of those who are at a distance, whom we come in and out of interactions with. Their praise of us, their view of us. And again, all of this is from the outside looking in. All of this is from a distance. And we then take those perspectives, and again, we measure our person, our character, our social health, all of that by that. And sometimes we measure that against what those who have an intimate dealings with us, those who have an intimate relationship, an intimate dynamic with us. We measure those external perspectives. We use those external perspectives to measure against those intimate perspectives. And let me tell you something. They're not going to be the same. I believe that when you deal with someone on an intimate level, when y'all live together, when y'all have to function in an environment together, when y'all have to make something work together, whether it be at work or wherever else where y'all have to operate together, right? In that, you're going to experience other aspects of that person than someone who doesn't have to operate inside of that dynamic with that person. When people have to operate as a body versus as individuals, right? Because I'm really trying to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. Because this is a perspective that I don't believe that we really think about and consider. This is why I'm talking about this. And the thing is that we do a disservice to our own personal growth and development. When we do that, when we take away from the intimate perspective, all because we enjoy the perspective of those external. And I believe that the intimate perspective is a whole lot more accurate than the external perspective. The person who has that intimate dealing with you, the one who has to operate inside of that body with you, that union with you, that job with you, that classroom with you, have a different experience with you than those who don't have to operate inside of those dynamics with you. A lot of us function well by ourselves. Why? It is my perspective that we function so well by ourselves because of what we're not willing to sacrifice of self. What we're not willing to give of self. There are a lot of individual principles, perspectives, concepts, and contexts that we are not willing to sacrifice for the whole, for the body, for the union, for the group, for the class, for your co-workers. You know how you get in the environment, you say, damn, man, all these chiefs is not, I go, so many chiefs are not enough Indians. Everybody want to run something. You know, everybody can maybe be given an assignment to be head over, right? But even in that, there has to be a head. There has to be a head. When the baby is formed, the first thing that is formed is the head. Why? There's a sign in that. The Quran said there's a sign in things like that for those who are wise. Why, man? Why is the head so important? Why is it that when you had COINTELPRO and anybody who desires or has the objective to break up a group, why do they always attack the head? Because they attack the head, the body will fall. That is on a physical level, whether in the fight, whether in other types of warfare where the mind is attacked, or whether it be in some type of I guess you could say group leadership type dynamic. Attack the head. But if overall the knowledge, the abilities, the intelligence, the wisdom of the head can be duplicated in the body, only at that point, and this is theory, only at that point do there not have to be a head. Now, according to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in my understanding, that's what the hereafter will consist of. Is that if we're all in God status, then we all will be functioning like the body. Everybody is head over whatever area that is, functioning like a god, a ruler. In that dynamic, not over no one else, but over self. And it is that still glorifies and reflects the oneness of God. And everybody doing what they should do and supposed to do that is conducive towards the overall objective of the body, of the people. We cannot measure our social health, our character, our mindset, our ability to work with others by external perspectives of who we are. We have to stop trying to use that as a measuring tool to really determine, hey man, where I need work at, what I need to work on, what I don't need to work on. Well, my friends love me. Most of our friends are toxic as hell. Most of the people that we gravitate to them because there's a like-mindedness there. But have you ever noticed when friends fall out, you start hearing all the ugly stuff come out? They're real thoughts. The more intimate people are with each other, the more dangerous they can be to each other. Why? Because they're inside. The most damage can be done on the inside. And that's the quote-unquote scary thing about really loving someone. If you really love someone, then you become really vulnerable to that person, to the point to where they really can do damage to you. Why? Because you're fully open and you're not trying to hold on to all these individual ideas that keep things in boundary. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that was just a perspective that I wanted to share. Peace and blessings. Let me know what you think.